Mr. Moody raises a point of order against further consideration of the Little Amendment, Amendment number 2, under Rule 11, Section 2, on the grounds that the amendment is not germane to the joint resolution. Both the joint resolution and the amendment limit the discretion of judges in setting bail. However, the amendment impermissibly expands the scope of the resolution to effectively eliminate judicial discretion. It does this by making the probable cause supporting the accused's arrest, together with the accused's prior criminal history, conclusive facts about absolutely prohibiting the granting of bail. Because the amendment negates the discretion granted by the resolution and is not related to the conditions required in the resolution, it is not germane. Accordingly, the point of order is well taken and sustained. Anyone wishing to speak on, for, or against? Mr. Moody, in favor.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker and members. SJR 5 has come a long way. It isn't perfect, but it's a good balance that's going to get us to the right results in most cases. As the bill came to us, it was a may deny bail with no burden of proof on the state and no right to counsel. It also swept up poor people who might miss court due to things like lack of transportation instead of focusing on flight risk. It had some procedural problems. That all got worse in certain proposals that we saw that applied to a wide range of offenses that would have flipped the burden onto the defendant to prove that they should be released. Quite frankly, some of those proposals were gulag bills. However, what we have now is a clear burden placed on the prosecution where it should be, that lines up with federal standards. It guarantees counsel in these bail hearings. It focuses on only willful non-appearance. It applies only to serious charges and requires consideration of the specific facts behind them. It's true that this is a shall deny bail when those things are proven, but the reality is that's already happening. If the state proves a person is a danger or a flight risk at a hearing where the defendant is represented, that's a person who should be locked up pending trial. Right now, that happens with bail set so high that the defendant can't possibly make it. SJR 5 is a more honest way of doing that. And now, if it's used improperly, a denial fits better into our habeas system. The fact is, we wouldn't be here if there weren't real-life examples of people being released who plainly should not have been. This resolution addresses that. I'll just add a note of regret that we're not doing anything on the low end of bail. That's how the bail reform conversation started a decade ago, and for every improperly released defendant who commits a serious crime, there's 100 low-level offenders held when they shouldn't be, whose lives are upended. We need to do both, and I'm committed to focusing on the low end when we come back next session. For now, there's something fair and reasonable to do at the high end, and I think SJR 5 hits that target. So I'll be voting for it, and I hope you'll join me.
Members, please excuse Mr. Dutton because of important business on motion of Mr. King. Is there objection? Chair is none so ordered. Mr. Little, in favor of the bill. Resolution.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Members, of all the things I've had an opportunity to work on in my life, this may be the most important. And the reason that I tell you that is because we have an opportunity to heal a grievous wound to our state and to our communities. This is not a Harris County bill. It's not a Travis County bill. This is a bill for the state of Texas. There was a Harris County Sheriff's deputy. His name was Fernando Esqueda. He was ambushed by two gentlemen in the city of Houston. There were 41 spent shell casings at the scene. There were two assailants. One was held without bond. The other was released on $500,000 bond on a capital murder case. He made bond. He walks the street free. There are 900 people charged with murder who are out on bail in the city of Houston. 900. In the last 5 years, 968 separate defendants were accused of new serious crimes while they were out on bond. There's a gentleman in Houston named Austin Collette. Following a SWAT standoff, Houston police recovered the bodies of Collette and his girlfriend in a murder-suicide. He had already pled guilty to murder in 2019 and was still awaiting sentencing. In Hays County, Texas, there was a 19-year-old man who was shot dead with a rifle 30 times by a teenager. teenager charged with his murder was released on bond. A retired Travis County judge set his bond at $150,000. It's a $15,000 cash hit. While he was on bond, he was arrested in Hays County and charged with trafficking another person and 2 counts of sexual assault of a child. This is our opportunity to repair something that is broken. And if we have the ability to repair something that is broken, we must. I ask you to support SJR 5 with your vote today.
Chair recognizes Mr. Smithy.
Thank you, members, for your attention during this debate. I can assure you that every word in this resolution was developed after a lot of negotiation, of input. We received input from a number of you members, and we tried to address every possible concern. It may not be perfect, but it's the best we could do to fix a system that's been broken for a long time. As I said, we've been working on this for 10 years now, almost 10 years, and it's finally time to get this done. I'll just say in closing one other thing. When we met with the victims, what I was impressed with, it just really affects you. There's nothing we can do to really help them in their situation. The families of the victims are the victims. It's already been done. But their concern is this. They say, I don't ever want what happened to me to happen to anyone else in the state of Texas. And that's their only concern. And they've given their lives, and they want some good to come out of the tragedy that their families have suffered. And so that's when I realized that, this bill has Senator Huffman's name on it. I guess it's got my name on there, but it's not her bill or my bill or even the governor's bill. But this bill truly belongs to the families of the victims and the victims themselves who have suffered these needless tragedies. So with that, members, I would move adoption of the amendment, of the resolution.
The question occurs on the adoption of SJR 5. It's a record vote required by the Constitution. Clerk, ring the bell. Show Mr. Smithy voting aye. Have all members voted? Have all members voted? Ms. Bowers voting aye. Have all members voted? 133 ayes and 8 nays. SJR 5 is adopted.